This is damage to the front end of your car, which hit his car in the rear.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the times when Judge Judy looked more like a sitcom than a court show.
She's leaning her whole body into me.
Number 10. Watch your mouth. Sometimes it's a wonder how litigants on court shows can stop themselves from blurting out obscenities. Well, this plaintiff didn't even bother trying.
Ms. Miyamoto, the defendant was a friend of yours. You moved into an apartment together. It is your claim that Miss Williams owes you for a loan and also for breaking your phone.
Raven Miyamoto's case against Daisha Williams resulted in some petty murmurings between the two that played out right in the courtroom.
We had been having issues beforehand, and there's already tension in the house due to Daisha's attitude towards me.
Okay.
Or because you were jealous.
Whatever it was.
We might have forgiven Miyamoto for the slip the first time around, but when she proudly repeated herself a second time,
You were jealous.
Whatever it was, you weren't getting along. And
Okay.
And
just a second. What did you say?
I said
all bets were off for Judge Judy. Both of their cases were thrown out. Legend has it that the defendant is still asking about her countersuit.
But it's excused and they step out.
Number 9. Neighbourly protest. Neighbour disputes are common on Judge Judy. However, when your neighbour starts an actual protest against you, you know things have gone a little too far.
I was exercising my First Amendment right.
This entry is about a different neighbour protest, and it's actually from the very first episode.
All night long, she blasts her radio.
That's correct. And what sounds like a car alarm, not just a radio.
It featured a really charming, if a little daffy, woman named Mia Lord, who was dissatisfied with a third-party neighbour's noises that may or may not have just been a result of the way the houses were built.
The only way you think that you can get Mr. V-Bot to be quiet is to make everybody else in the neighborhood suffer a little bit so that they'll all get on his back.
Right.
Lord's response was to play music and alarms loudly so that the entire neighbourhood would join her in protest against the offending neighbour. Instead, this landed her in the courtroom with the plaintiffs who were seeking a good night's sleep.
Now you have to be
not
quiet.
finished my
No,
presentation.
listen to me. Now you have to be quiet.
Number 8. Go like this. Co-defendants Patrick Valdivia Minzel and Rachel Bachakis were accused of squatting in a room they rented for several months.
When did you move out?
February.
of 2016.
When did she first tell you that she wanted you to move out? What month?
September.
The judge already seemed unimpressed with their sense of entitlement. Their defense, that they didn't pay because the apartment was illegal and then they didn't have the money to move, doesn't wash with Judge Judy.
I want to tell you something. You both sound ridiculous. Ridiculous.
The best part is when she asked Valdivia Minzel to flex his muscles. Stupidly, he did, and proudly too.
Go like this.
Yeah.
Then came the smackdown. She told him to get a job.
Get a job and move.
He had no idea it was coming, which just makes it that much more priceless. Number 7. You sound like a fool. The defendant's witness in this case is clearly the star of her own show.
As soon as the dog ran out, you ran out after her.
I ran after her.
Talking back to the judge is never a great idea, but when you're this wrong and this far in denial, it's really just entertaining for the rest of us. With witnesses like Carla Sanchez Lopez, who needs enemies?
You sound like a fool.
That's your opinion, not
No,
mine.
my opinion's the only one that counts.
If anything, her smugness and disrespect only made the defendant look sketchier than she already did. She has a lot to say, but once the judge lays into her, it's doubly hilarious to watch her actively trying not to respond. It's a losing battle.
And if you were the one responsible for taking care of the dog that day, you didn't do a good job.
I did do a good job because the
Now,
dog never left my
now we're
side.
done. Now you can sit.
The layers of arrogance on display here are awe-inspiring. Number 6. Truth and lies. Another one from the very first episode, audiences got to see the judge's characteristic toughness, as well as her sense of humour and gentleness with children.
Mrs. Wilk, Norris's are your neighbors. That's your little boy, Adam.
Yes.
This case had Judge Judy questioning a young boy who was bit by a dog. It's a sad case, as the boy is clearly traumatized, but when she first calls him to the stand, it's not so serious quite yet.
How old are you? I think you're about 8.
she asks Adam if he knows the difference between the truth and a lie. To test him, she goes through a series of questions with obvious correct answers.
If I were to hold up this object and tell you that this was an elephant, would that be the truth or a lie?
A lie.
Our favourite is the last question, and Adam passes with flying colours.
Now, if I were to tell you that the judge in this case is a young, beautiful woman, would that be the truth or a lie?
The truth.
Yes.
Even Officer Bird smiles, and long-time watchers will know just how rare that is. Number 5, Parental Advisory suggested. Judge Judy is classic daytime TV, but this case started to resemble something that you could only air after hours.
I run an adult novelty in-home party business.
What is adult novelty?
The plaintiff's adult novelty business took a hit when the defendant failed to return some items. Even Judge Judy seemed shocked that these were all about to be read aloud.
Making love oil, flavors strawberry and champagne.
Not only that, but some of the items that were returned had been, in the plaintiff's words, used. Listing these novelty items out for the court, the plaintiff kept a straight face, even if nobody else could. Frankly, the second-hand embarrassment is almost too much.
So that may have been used, but we would have appreciated that to have been cleaned up before she returned it to us.
Number 4, Rigor Mortis Stew. The next time you wrong somebody, why not send them home with a nice pot of stew? Just make sure it's not stew made with meat from the animal you hit with their car. Sisters Eve and Carol Dettenheim are in court because Carol hit a deer with Eve's car, which she had taken without permission.
Are you angry with your sister?
A little bit. I feel like she needs to own up to the responsibility that she did damage my car and make what is wrong right.
Carol clearly knows how to make the best of a bad situation.
I can't stay with her. She'll do stuff like rev up her engine in the morning trying to wake up my son and stuff.
Instead of letting all that good meat go to waste, she ate the deer. Carol even made her sister a peace offering. Eve's contention that she did not want any rigor mortis stew is probably one of the most unintentionally funny things ever said in Judge Judy's courtroom.
But I'm not having rigor mortis stew.
It did not have rigor mortis, so I went back.
Number 3, vicious Tupperware attack. Plaintiff Karina Roy is suing Nicole Simius for assault and wrongful eviction after a heated argument over Tupperware.
You had an argument over Tupperware.
Yes.
In describing the incident, Roy can't help but launch into amateur theatrics. But the hilarious thing is her performance just makes a benign event seem all the more ridiculous to be in court over.
And she said, well, don't you dare! And she threw her blankets off her, which every morning...
Just a second, are you telling me you went into her bedroom?
Yes.
To ask?
We don't know who's more relatable in this case. Is it the audience who keep looking at each other, clearly wondering if this can possibly be real? Is it the judge who keeps having to remind Roy that this isn't community theatre? How the Tupperware flinging defendant can even sleep at night is beyond us.
Anybody that walks into a bedroom, somebody sleeping in their bed, to ask for 2 pieces of Tupperware and start an argument with them while they're in bed over 2 pieces of Tupperware isn't too stable.
Okay.
Number 2, allow him to demonstrate, Your Honour. Judge Judy is not one for dramatic reenactments. She'll just take the facts, please.
What happened, Mr. Howell? Why did she leave?
Well, Melissa had to leave for a number of reasons. The main reason was because Melissa was incapable of doing her work.
Dr. Noel Howell presented himself fairly professionally during most of the case, but when it came to describing the plaintiff's drunken antics, things threatened to go off the rails. Mid-testimony, he launched into a very loud and suggestive demonstration of her behaviour while under the influence on a movie set.
I got on the set and I was like, yo, you need to go talk to Melissa. I'm like, what's going on? And they said, I don't know what's up. So I went over to her and she was like, why?
The audience, and even Howell's witness, can't keep it together. The judge doesn't lose her cool. But do we see the slightest hint of a smile on her face? Actually, probably not. But it had us dying of laughter just the same.
Okay. Goodbye, folks.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Dumb and Dumber. If you want to feel smarter, just take a look at the defendants in this case. The plaintiff, Ginny Paradisa, accused them of stealing her purse.
I had to replace all my IDs. I had gift cards in there, my earpiece, and a calculator.
When the judge asks her to list off the items that were in the purse at the time that it was stolen, one of the accused takes issue with Paradise's claims.
There was no earpiece in her mouth.
Without missing a beat, he insists there was no earpiece in the purse, not even realizing he just confessed to the crime. Justice is rarely ever this swift. The co-defendants have gone down in history as two of the dumbest litigants ever to appear on Judge Judy. But maybe we've been too hard on them. What they've done for the culture can't be overstated.
Judging for the plaintiff for the amount of $500. That's what I think it's worth, madam. Goodbye.
Which of these hilarious moments left you speechless? Catch your breath and tell us in the comments.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.